Hi guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. How's it going? Today we have got a resilient Jenkins, or formerly known as family of 7 living in one hotel, motel, holiday inn. I do these every so often because a large chunk of my audience likes to know what they're getting up to, and truth be told, I kind of do too. If you're not quite sure who I'm talking about, they are called the Resilient Jenkins. They are over on TikTok up here, and they also have YouTube as well. Literally, as the title would suggest, they are a family of 7 living in one motel. They weren't always living in one motel. They were once living in a 1-bedroom apartment where they made the kids sleep on the floor next to the onions, and it was only until they kind of blew up on TikTok and people were saying like, hey, they should really have their own room, not be sleeping next to the onion, on what is effectively a comforter on the floor. It wasn't good, and their situation has only gotten worse. Even they say they are homeless and they've got a baby and a toddler, and they're all living in a motel hotel. The clause with this is that they can't stay there for the whole time. So I think this is like the 3rd time they've had to vacate their motel for one night, so that it falls in line with the regulations on, you know, people being there. So just yesterday they had to go and stay somewhere else for the night.
Y'all, it's that time again. We're headed over to another motel for the night, and y'all coming along with us, right?
No W2 Drew, who is the dad, was clutching his PS5. That is basically it. They're both grifters. They both refuse to get jobs. Stephanie's full-time job is making TikToks, rage baiting other people, and No W2 Drew does the occasional DoorDash. He makes content. As a content creator, you're always kind of thinking, like, you're doubting yourself, like, am I putting out quality content enough to be earning a living from this? Then you then see creators such as Drew literally just giving us a shot of the pavement for like half an hour, and suddenly you're thinking that you're Quentin Tarantino, you know? If you are interested in anything that I've just said and you do not know who they are, I will leave the last video that I did in the description box, because that will give you a understanding of what I'm going to be talking about today.
Another thing I feel like I have to set straight for, I don't fucking know a reason. I'm not trying to keep nobody from nobody, okay?
So No W2 Drew has been in a lot of hot water because his son, who is the eldest child who lives there, not his eldest child, it's his eldest child he actually abandoned, and that baby mama called Arlisa has spoken out as well. It's very messy. Oldest child that lives there, okay, his mum is not actually Stephanie. Okay, Stephanie is not his like biological mum. His mum is called Desiree, and Desiree has been trying to get into contact with Drew for, I think, about 2 years now, or 3 years. No W2 Drew and Desiree were having a good, solid co-parenting journey up until the point where No W2 Drew met Stephanie, and then, like, they basically just ran away and no one could get hold of them. Arlisa didn't know where they were until they popped up on TikTok. Desiree didn't know where they were before they popped up on TikTok. Up until this point, they hadn't gone to court over it. They went to court and the judge turned around and he said, we need to make it so that this child has scheduled phone conversations with his mum, and that they also have visitation, which will then lead into a more fluid co-parenting, you know, you go there, it will lead into a relationship starting to form again. Desiree also has other kids as well, and they all live with her. There's nothing the matter. She didn't hand over custody. There was never a formal thing. She just needed to sort out her living arrangement. The son went to go and live with No W2 Drew, and then it was all going fine until Stephanie came into the picture. That is what I've gathered from the sheer volume of lives that I've seen where Desiree and her advocate, I think her advocate is called Right for Rights, when they've been speaking. Okay, so here we are today. So the last time I spoke about this, it turns out that they had been ignoring the court order, and that Drew Jenkins was basically ignoring all the phone calls that were coming from Desiree when she's trying to speak to her son. When they were meant to meet for the very first time, following on from these phone calls and everything happened, guess what? They never met. Now, Drew Jenkins has his own account now, as he is a content creator in his own right, apparently. So he went on live and he states that, the son didn't want to go and that he can't make his son go.
You can't force them to do what they'll want to do. If they're able to comprehend, then they can make the choice. Yes, you can force a child to do what they're told. Yeah, if you go tell them to clean up their room, yeah, they're supposed to clean up their room. But if they say, hey, you want to go to the grocery store, they say, no, I don't want to go to the grocery store. They shouldn't be forced to go to the grocery store. If he wrote the letter and was like, hey, I want to go to the park and see my mom, whatever he wanted to decide, I would definitely take him to the park. Why am I not being more supportive in the reunion? Again, if he said he wants to go and go to the park, go see his mom, go spend time with his other mother, whatever.
I mean, I can understand it from a point that if you haven't seen your mum in a couple of years, you might be like hesitant. But nothing's ever going to get achieved if you have no WT Drew and Steph, poisoning the well in that element. And I have a feeling that is what's going on. The fact that he's out here saying that he's never going to be getting a W2 job ever again is just absolutely ridiculous.
Will I ever get a W2 job? Probably not.
Whilst this is all happening, now I found this on the Resilient Jenkins Snark Reddit thread, which I will also leave in the description box. I always give them credit. But I found this on there, where you have the Resilient Jenkins replying to a comment saying, no child should live with a parent that ditched them for alcohol and street life and pops back up to make a name on social media. My son is staying right where he is. To my knowledge and understanding, after listening to a lot of Right for Rights, that isn't actually the case. So what do people do after learning that they are ignoring the court orders? They decide to arrange a way for them to get a retainer fee for the lawyer, which Right for Rights, who's the advocate, starts putting together. The goal was like $5,000, which was raised insanely quickly, and I believe it kept on climbing. There was a GoFundMe, I think, and now the GoFundMe is not present, it's just Cash App and Venmo. This made Stephanie freak out. Because why do we then have Miss Stephanie Jenkins, and by the way, she's not even a Jenkins, they're not married. Too much to get through, but they're not married. We have Miss Stephanie over here, right, who decides to send a text message to Desiree saying that they should co-parent and that she doesn't want to stand in the way of him having a relationship with his mum, and that actually she'd like it if they could both be his mum.
Hey Desiree, this is Stephanie. I was hoping we could communicate as one mom to another. I feel like you and I both want what's best for Deshaun, and I'm the one on my phone more often. Drew doesn't check his texts like that. I wanted to say that I feel like a lot of people have tried to speak for me on this, including your advocate, and it was never my intention for you to feel like I'm trying to come between you and Deshaun. I feel more than blessed that I've been able to be here for him, but pursuing a relationship with you doesn't change how I feel about that. I love that boy with my whole heart. He's great. But one mom to another, I can sense that he has questions and a desire to know you. Right now, he is fearful because it's just new to him and he doesn't want his family life to change. He loves his siblings and I also share a connection. My hope is that you have the same desire as me and that we can create a safe and honest space for Deshaun to go about the whole process, but in his own timing. I've let him know on more than one occasion that he never has to feel like he's hurting his dad or myself by choosing to see you. I've tried to encourage him to be more open to talking on the phone more if he's comfortable. And he's a pretty sociable kid, so I feel the phone conversation are a great way to start building a bond. He always loves to talk about his video games and sports, also cooking. I never known what is true when I hear things online, but I heard you have other kiddos as well. I know Deshaun would love the chance to know his other siblings. I feel the best thing for him would be if you and I could go forward with the kindness and respect towards each other so Deshaun feels the same support he deserves. Co-parenting can work and doesn't need to have a mentally draining process for anyone involved. I've tried to respect the fact that I'm just a step-parent in the situation and really let Drew speak for me for a lot of this. But I feel like that's not showing my true intentions as an additional parent figure in Deshaun's life. I think he liked to call us both mom, and I hope you're okay with that as well. Either way, I hope this clears some things up. Please feel free to reach out to me.
I would never give anyone the time of day that was coming online and badmouth him. Badmouthing this little boy who seemed to love so much, his mum. If that wasn't quite, dramatic enough, we then have this whole entire story arc, which started spilling out all over TikTok, right, stating that Stephanie and Drew were going to be breaking up over this. Because Stephanie comes on, and this is going to be a little bit lengthy to read, but hopefully we can all sit through it. Hopefully my voice is not too grating. She says, I honestly can't keep up with this hate. I don't see why anyone can even have an issue with someone who has been there for their kid. I'm not trying to keep anyone away from anyone. What was that message then? I grew babies in my body. You think I would ever dare stand between that connection and another mother? No, but I will respect a child's feelings and their timing on the matter, and that's literally all I want to do here. I don't want my entire page to turn into this situation. I have 4 other kids to think about, and they deserve my time and attention too. And as far as everyone bringing the drama about Drew and his oldest son to my page and hazing on me for that, why? It has not crap to do with me. I have urged to make attempts, but he feels that just like the child, his oldest will be hesitant and scared to start that relationship back up, and I can understand that. Drew has wanted nothing to do with this child at all, and the child is now 12, has not, basically one of the reasonings why he will not go out and get a W-2 job is because when he did have one, the child benefit was being garnished from his wages because he refused to pay, so it was literally being clawed out. To this day, he still owes a lot of money. Do I respect him not making attempts despite? No. You're really out here acting like I'm not the best mum I can be every day. I carry weight around on my name that are entirely on the men I have been with, and that's bullshit. Especially coming from other women who should be able to put that together. Let me say it again. I would never stand in between a biological parent and their kid. That's the kid's decision, not mine. All I've done is be there for the kiddo and do everything I can to show up daily for him. Not me pointing fingers, just me standing up for myself. Why come at me and get my accounts banned and have all this full-on hate pages about me when I'm just doing the best I can? Reasoning why, she's not actually married to Drew. She's married to a registered sex offender who's still in prison for essaying his own mother and little girls. Do you know what I mean? We're not talking about things that are excusable when it comes to relationships and the differences between the partners, and you may have a different thought process on this one thing than your partner, but at the end of the day it's pretty harmless, and it could just be 2 personalities clashing, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about some pretty disgusting things that the men in her life have been a part of, and she can't quite understand that she is not them, but she is siding with them by being with them. Your choice in partners says a lot about you as a person. Drew mentally dipped out on me after we went viral, and I'll speak on that more. He even admitted that if he hadn't have mentally dipped out on me, I probably would have the time to figure out our cats and keeping them. And yeah, full 100, if he hadn't have been more or less absent those 3 months, I would have had the proper time on my hands to find out that the motel we ended up in allows animals and we could have had our babies. I will never forgive him or myself for that. And when I said answer the phone, make attempts to figure this out before it ends up with lawyers and me losing accounts, I wish to God he would have listened. This is what I'm trying to say. They're only caring now because there's lawyers involved. I get being cautious about the process, but what child isn't going to want to try to have a relationship with the person that grew them inside of them? I've never heard of anyone. This post is vulnerable, but I can't keep watching everything I've worked towards be broke apart for an image people have about me that isn't even correct. I think when parents can figure it out, kids who have bonus parents have additional support in life. Why would I not want that? Try to consider how confusing the situation has been for my biological kids as well, who have to sit and wonder why their dingle F dad doesn't want to be in the picture. Why their stepbrother has another parent and wants to send gifts and be a part of his life, but not your second parent, kiddos. You're so effing insensitive about the matter, and it's not even your life. And as far as me marrying a SO, I've already made videos on that. You can take the time to find them and either show respect or not, but coming at a victim of DV and SA about it like it's her fault, he chose to be a horrible person, is sickening, honestly. My ex is rotting exactly where he deserves to be. Oh, by the way, he did all these things before they got married. I keep a notification on my phone for if he gets moved to a different prison, because the thought of him ever being out again terrifies me. I don't have as much time on my hands to speak on all these things. If I wanted to just sit and speak to the camera all day, my kids' needs would not be met. Notice how most of the time I'm doing a voiceover over a video of me literally cleaning, cooking, whatever it may be, but I'm not talking to a camera. My oldest daughter turns 10 tomorrow. I wanted to have so much more for her life at this point, and I can't help but wonder if I don't have more to offer because I choose men that don't think more should be provided. Oh my god. It's like an awakening. She said it. Yes, you are choosing the wrong man. In fact, you're putting so much of an emphasis on trying to be with men that you are messing up your children's lives, because Drew is not going to change. Drew is happy being the bum that he is. And that is putting a big disrespect on the other bums, right? He is happy mooching and being where he is and effing his own life up. Actually trying to sympathise a little bit. You may hate it, but I'm trying. If she got out of a relationship with the guy who obviously is in prison, right? I mean, it's very, very, very possible that he did those things to her as well. I think people tend to gloss over this one. She might have actually had a really triggering traumatic experience with him. I mean, he did it to his own mum. He did it to... You get what I'm coming from, yeah? So she might have just got out of the thing. Her own mum said she just went completely off the rails. She just ran straight into this relationship, not actually seeing who this man really is, just someone that, you know, she thinks loves her. She's saying it. She needs to get rid of him, I swear to God. I agree with what a lot of other people are saying, in the sense that I actually think she could create a good life for herself and her kids if she just left Drew, because Drew is never going to change. Stephanie, I kind of see glimmers of there might be a hope of her changing, but Drew, no. And it's always funny because you end up dating or being with these men when you're going through a really, really shit time in your life. Not because of them, but because there's other things going on as well. Look at who you're friends with and look at who you're dating in that time period. And I guarantee you the new friends that you've met or the new people that you're dating when you already are at rock bottom, when you do come out of it and you are in a better headspace and you've got more going for you, you would not give them the time of the day. I really try to decipher what is cause of Drew's spectrum struggles versus what is a choice he could change. I get him better than anyone and I always will, but that keeps looking like me carrying a mental weight I shouldn't have to carry on top of everything else, especially when my first priority in life is my kids. I can't be hyper focused on my man when we have kids to think about. I'm tired of feeling like my kids are parented in ways I wouldn't ever do if I was single mum in it. How can I expect my little girls to grow up confident and feeling valued when I don't give off that energy at all? Another huge thing that comes up is I'm a godly person. Church is a bit much due to social anxiety, but as far as living a life according to God's plan, I'm trying to do that, and Drew is not at all godly. I feel if we both had that spiritual connection and relationship, we wouldn't have so much standing in the way of our glow up. I mentally can barely take more. Social media is the way I am able to stay home and make money from home. No one will raise my babies like I want them to be raised. I'm doing everything I can to be a good mother, a steady life partner, but please, for the love of God, go attack to correct people for all the hate. Understand my only intention is to be here for my kids, standing in the way of anything or anyone, so why keep trying to block my success, which is in turn blocking my kids? Have some respect, please. Now, I don't know if this was just put here as a way of trolling, because she has been known to troll. In fact, she actually created this whole video. She was baiting like a real bad relationship between her and No W2 Drew, and then she turned around and said, actually guys, it's not real. I kind of have a feeling like this is kind of that. It's just strumming up engagement. You have to remember that when people do talk about them, that then increases traffic to their page. It means that their content will pop up on your page more. And on TikTok, I believe that you only get paid if it appears on your For You page. I don't know if it's rage bait. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know. We shall find out. I wish she would leave him. I really wish she would. I think she'd actually have a glow up. I mean, yeah, she just has done some appalling things, But I do think everyone is capable of redemption, right? The great Stephanie redemption arc. Anyway, so she comes out with this other video, which came out yesterday, explaining that she is never going to be leaving her man, and that she's never going to be leaving No W2 Drew, and that they have been through thick and thin together. And also, fun fact, they have never had a date night, and they have never like had alone time without the kids. I can understand that because they've basically exiled everyone out of their lives, so I can understand that, and that must be really difficult. But at the same time, I can't help but feel that he is just looking at her as like a babysitter as a way of, you know, conveniencing him so that he can get down to doing what he really wants to do, which is playing on his PS5.
If you honestly think that those relationships that have lasted that long haven't had to put work in, they've just been perfect the whole time, you're freaking naive. Like, seriously fucking naive. And that's exactly what Drew and I are going through at this point. I'm not gonna leave him, and I don't owe anybody explanations to that. It's between him and I. Y'all are here to watch our journey, not decide our journey. Try to fucking remember that. I mean, like, seriously fucking remember that, and remember y'all's place. I promise full transparency, and I don't give a crap who decides to judge me for, oh, but you have expressed this and you've expressed that, and I would just leave. That's you. That's on you. That you would decide to leave instead of continue to try to make your family work. Instead of look past this incredibly difficult time and see that you guys have a lot of potential. You just need to work through it. Mind you, like, Drew and I have not had one date since we got together, because we already kept putting it off for freaking months because we both had kids and stuff just never fucking lined up. No, that's not reason to just be like, oh, you should never have even met in the first place. Why are you guys so quick to just be like, I want to be alone when I'm freaking 50, 60? Like, that's you. I'll put the work in with the person that has been through thick and thin with me. Like, I have stories to tell up the yin yang. I just never have the time. And y'all think I'm just like shoved in the bathroom because, like, oh, he got her to freaking submit and go talk. No, like, this is my first opportunity to be up in here, that I've got both the I don't have two toddlers, both the babies settled. And I just feel like I just have a fucking minute, because other than this time, I've really just been up and down ever since like 3-4 days ago. That's what I came here to say, was that we aren't just gonna break up just because a whole community of people wants to see that for us. Like, there's a lot more to both of us. There's so much that we want to share that we just seem like we both feel like we never get the fucking time to get up on our apps and try to share.
So yeah, so that is what Stephanie had to say. I did cut quite a bit of it out. But well and truly, I'm bamboozled. I do come up with the updates, but I usually wait until I've got a lot to update before I update. Do you know what I mean? Because then I can then get back to talking about some cakes or about some petty drama that I see over on TikTok. But thank you so much for watching. I hope all of you have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.